Come on. What's up, everybody? We are back. Aaron the dog is back, reunited with his official, unofficial statistician, Mr. Brandon of MMA Wagers. And we're back for, I didn't put the banner up, but if you can see from the title, we're back to break down another Bellator this Friday night, starting at 6 p.m. on YouTube, and then moving over at 9 p.m. Eastern to Showtime in the States. And I'm not sure what the setup is in Canada, but
YouTube
Brandon,
still.
you still on YouTube? That's good.
YouTube.
Brandon, how you doing today, man?
I'm really good, man. It's been a couple weeks since we broke down fights, and I know we both have been cashing while we haven't really been discussing them, but I'm happy to be here and break down another. I know it's not the best Bellator card, but it's a Bellator card. So
yeah, it's a Bellator card. We got a few LFAs this weekend, one on Friday, one on Sunday, and the lines are already out on those. I'm probably going to be putting a video out tomorrow with regards to those, but I haven't been able to quite hit those up yet. This feels like a little more of a throwback Bellator card for me. And what I mean by that is, there's still really great talent throughout, so it's not quite a Bellator throwback, but there's a lot of on paper and pre-match mismatches. And we see it both in the odds and just overall when you look at both opponents in a lot of these fights, you see a pretty wide skill range. So, we're seeing a little bit of how the sausage is made with regards to a Cody Law and how they're going to get him to a 10-0 type of record before they start really testing him, it appears, when he's facing the guy he is, and just a few like that. But so, we got 2 fight cards on Friday. We got a Saturday after a UFC pay-per-view card. So on paper, those sneak up on people because people just don't know. But I'm really excited about that card as well. Moises and Makhachev on Saturday is a fight no one's talking about, but I think they will be afterwards. And
I think it's going to be more competitive than what the money line indicates.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that this is a very interesting fight for Makhachev because I think he's going to have to.
You're going to be with Brian Pooh Bear Battle tomorrow?
Yep, Brian Pooh Bear Battle and I will be live at 8:30 tomorrow night, Thursday night, to cover that. Bunny will be appearing on all pay-per-view shows moving forward. So 264, I believe, was
Derek Lewis and Surreal.
Yep. So April 7th weekend. So Bunny will be back for that. In the meantime, she's in the comments. She's watching, as always. But Bunny killed it. Shuey on air. Definitely a fun episode. Brian, her and I, the dog, the bear, and the bunny. And then we got Brandon in the comments with, the stats. So, you're still a part of the show, dude. But
we're here. I do my homework.
Yeah, you definitely do. And even when you're not on air, you still find a way to cut me off and beat me to certain things I'm about to say. So it's just a gift that Brandon possesses, no one else that I work with. So he's lucky I like him. But thank you all for joining me. We're gonna get started here on Bellator 262.
Oh, this might be breaking news too, Aaron.
Yep.
John Ramirez versus Roman Feraldo. The fight just got scrapped.
Well, that's a bummer because I was finally going to believe in Roman Feraldo, who I've kind of doubted on.
Underdog in that fight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what happened exactly?
So Feraldo had to drop out due to family issues. Something about his family.
Okay, so they'll have him loaded back up pretty soon. This fight probably will get reset.
Still got a 10-fight card on our hands.
Yeah, we got a 10-fight card, and that's interesting. That was one of your dogs because that would have been a very interesting conversation because I was very much on.
Back now.
Well, who knows? We don't know before we start, but so we're down to. Is it down to 10 or is it down to 9 now?
10.
It is down.
It's already updated on Tapology.
Oh wow, they did already update it. That's great. And of course, we're back at Unkinsville, Connecticut, where they have just leased out. Whatever.
Yeah, every Bellator.
Every Bellator is in Unkinsville, Connecticut, because why not? But we're starting off with, I think, one of the closer fights of the night. So we got Charlie Campbell, Nick Guletti, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Nick is fighting out of Connecticut. So, and there will be a crowd with this fight, correct?
Pardon?
Is crowds back with Bellator at this point?
I think last Bellator they did have crowds, but just limited crowds.
But even if it's limited, the guy out of Connecticut you would think would have the crowd on his side, especially for the opener in Nick Guletti. So that's definitely interesting. We got New England versus New York. Longo Weidman versus Ultimate MMA. Longo Weidman for Charlie Campbell now, making his return to Bellator. Had a really impressive fight with Nyang Gyong, where really showed a ton of heart, ton of cardio. Was getting leg kicked early himself, had to switch his stance a few times, but didn't really seem to slow him down. And he will start returning those leg kicks, which is, I think, one of the best defenses other than checking leg kicks you can do against a leg kicker. And Young wilted. So I was expecting to see more of the 26-year-old there, but I'll start with Nick Guletti, 29 years old, fighting out of Ultimate MMA, as I said. Did lose his last fight out to Faraz Golden Jr. at CFFC 97 on May 29th. So pretty recently, but I did go back and watch that fight. Faraz Golden looks quite legit, very, very impressive. And I think he's a future prospect in a Bellator, PFL, these higher leagues for sure. So he was no means embarrassed in that fight. It's just that he started to gas and went to his wrestling, and it got pretty desperate. And once Faraz showed that wrestling base was there, Nick was kind of surviving the rest of the fight, if I'm being honest. The stand-up wasn't exactly crisp there. So I just think this is kind of a simple fight to break down for me. I think if Nick is unable to get a hold of Charlie's able to use his movement and able to use the superior speed and stand-up, I think he's going to kind of just piece up Nick on the feet here. Possible finish. Otherwise, I can see Charlie very capable of going 15 minutes pretty comfortably. Before that, Nick had beat no one of note. His 2 KOs came in 2 minutes against an 0-1 and an 0-0 guy. So not much of a test so far as a pro. Charlie, again, won his last 2 after losing to Anthony Newton. I don't exactly know who that is, but early losses don't bother me. His last 2 out, Cedric Gunnarsson also looked pretty impressive and was undefeated. And he handled them quite well with regards to athleticism. So I do like Charlie Campbell. I think his wrestling and grappling should be pretty shored up, being at Sarah Longo as well. So give me some Charlie Campbell. I'd love to find the way to talk myself into the dog, but I just think unless he's able to lay on top of him for 3 rounds, like two rounds at least, I don't see his route to victory here.
Yeah, Charlie Campbell versus Nick Guletti.
Yep.
Nick Guletti is a NCAA D1 wrestler, so we always have to put that into consideration. If he starts getting lit up on the feet, he has that in his back pocket. Take him down, control him, but cardio, we don't know his cardio. Nick's got 2 finishes in the first round, so
I mean, we saw in that fifth. At least when I watched the CFFC fight, after the first round, he was not the same at all. So that is the first time we saw him extended, and it wasn't. And it was only in May, the end of May, or beginning of June.
Yeah, these wrestlers have like 2 rounds in them, and they start to gas. They can't, because in wrestling it's not 5-minute rounds. I believe in wrestling it's only 2-minute rounds or 3 minutes. So it's hard to transfer into MMA as a wrestler. He's only got 3 professional fights. Nick Guletti, we're talking about. Charlie Campbell comes from a great camp. Ray Longo, Chris Weidman, Matt Serra. He cashed as a huge underdog for me. The one time he fought in Bellator, he left Bellator, fought in CFFC. I guess maybe it was a 1-fight contract, but he's back in Bellator. Happy belated birthday, by the way. He just turned 26 July 3rd. So he had a training camp in his birthday while his birthday was going on. So yeah, even more commitment to this camp. And I like Charlie here, but if Nick makes it a dirty fight, we could see Nick edging out like a close split decision. This is probably one of the least the least exciting fights to me from a betting perspective.
Yeah, especially when you see Charlie Campbell at minus 375 as a
Yeah,
2-1 guy.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
It's pretty tough. 3-1, but still, yeah. There's so many obstacles we've yet to see how Charlie handles. I get that Young fight was very good, but he was on the way of losing that fight also.
Yeah. He's lucky he landed a few calf kicks.
Yeah, and and we've kind of seen Jong we're not exactly sure how good Jong is quite yet, but it seems like he's starting to find his way also.
Yeah, the Hawaiian, right?
But yeah, exactly. I mean, it happened to Jong against Campbell. It can happen to Campbell here against Guletti, wrestler. But yeah, minus 375, I'm not going to touch that. Plus 290 on Nick Guletti, I'm not going to touch that either. This is a pass for me.
Yeah. I'm going to say Charlie Campbell 29-28 decision.
Yeah, I would 29-28 or 30-27. I would think
he's probably going to gas, but we'll see.
Yeah, but we'll definitely see. But betting wise, 3-1 versus 2-1. I'm not crazy about seeing anybody at a nearly minus 300. So we'll move on to the next fight here. One of our definitely closest fights of the night. We got Johnny Soto going up against Bilal Muhammad's boy. Bilal Muhammad is always in this guy's corner. They both fight out of Chicago. I'm not sure if he's out of Rufus Sport or not, but I've definitely seen Muhammad. It's Adil Benjilani, also known as Glory Boy, the Moroccan, currently on, I believe, a 2-fight losing streak, but 5-3 overall for the Moroccan fighter. I did pick his Bellator fight against Chris Liccioni, and I did pick Chris Liccioni to win that fight. No shame in there. But 30 years old now for Adil. 2-fight losing streak, as I said, Chicago, Illinois. Those losses coming, however, to Chris Liccioni and Kevin Kroom. Kevin Kroom went on to have a UFC run with a UFC win. And that was a super close fight. It ended up being a split decision that I think that Adil did more to win. He just spent a little too much time in the grappling in a fight he didn't need to. And he's up against another grappler here in Johnny Soto. So if he hasn't corrected those issues, there was a few times he swept Kevin Kroom, however, but he just stayed in that realm a little too long and allowed it to stay the type of fight Kevin Kroom needed to get a split decision. Before that, Chris Liccioni grappled with him. Chris Liccioni gets him to the ground and finishes him, I believe, it was a mounted triangle that ended up just with a regular triangle by the end, but it was one where Liccioni had a clear grappling edge and exploited it. So I'm not sure exactly how good Soto is. That's definitely the first thing. But before that, Daniel Carey, very legit win there and came in the second round, 6-2 guy in Bellator. He has a couple Bellator wins under his belt. You'd like to see that for sure. And Johnny Soto missed weight last time out. So that's one of the first things that makes you slow down before you're betting this. You look at the picture on Tapology, he looks pretty sucked out too. And I believe this was from the fight he missed weight. So I'm not sure exactly where he's shedding that additional 2.5 pounds. So weighing at 148.5 for his last fight. Fighting out of North Carolina or North County MMA and Ultimate Fitness, which I'm not familiar with that gym. But he did, crack the hype train that was Weber Almeida. I was all over Weber Almeida in that fight as well.
We both were, yeah.
Yeah, and Soto just went in there and lost the first round and really showed a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit, got the fight to where he needed it. I can definitely see why people are excited about Soto in this spot because Adil has shown that to be one of his biggest weaknesses in his game is he allows the grappling to come to him. And he can kind of hang in there with the grappling, but eventually makes that error that causes the submission, makes the error that causes the position to win the round. So it's tough for me to see Adil get another tough kind of grappling wrestler here in Soto. It seems to be his Achilles. And I can't really pick against Soto here. I really want to, but I'm not betting this until I see weigh-ins. If Soto misses weight, I'm really betting him. So if he barely makes weight or needs like a towel or something, I might talk myself into a deal bet. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, we both we're very confident in Weber Almeida. He cost us a lot of early parlays, so we both had to regroup that night.
Whoever made it was my Teflon Nchukwu of Bellator.
yeah, pretty much equal to that. And it wasn't even a close fight. He lost a 10-8 round in that fight. Like,
Yeah.
Weber he's one of those guys where he's a one round and done.
Or he's a front runner. Yeah. I mean, he's a front runner. That's simple.
The deal's the same way. Three out of his 5 victories have come in the first round. Mm-hmm. So 60%. Yep.
Exactly.
So this is very similar to Weber Almeida. So Johnny Soto, if he sticks to the same blueprint that he had for Weber Almeida, he really should come out with the victory here.
Right.
There's not much else to say. You really broke it down well, and
Thanks.
you also mentioned that he missed weight his last fight by 2.5 pounds. I know it's not like a huge weight miss, but still 2.5 pounds. He probably just gave up. I don't think he even tried to cut the additional 2.5 pounds.
Which is probably which in all seriousness is probably why he had that gas in the second and third round. So if he does make weight, we have not seen how. And that fight was pretty recently. It was like what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, May.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 2 cuts very close together for a guy who seems to struggle with it. So these are things that I think are why the line's so close. It's minus 135 for Soto, plus 110 for a deal, and it sure feels like a trap.
Plus 380, he cashed as an underdog his last fight. I wish I was on that.
I was talking. I know a lot of people were on Burns. I was on Wonder Boy very confidently on Thursday, and I saw the line at minus 160. I said, this sure feels like a trap. And I think you commented, and you said, yeah, this feels trappy. Absolutely.
Because everybody, usually those consensus picks lose.
Yeah.
What up, Bunny?
And they did. Bunny, Boo
I think you all had Stephen Thompson.
And we all had Giles.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I had Drickus, but
that was fun till it wasn't.
Trevin was looking good, man.
He was, it's like don't put your hands up. Put your hands up. Like, you can do movement and have your hands up in case they do a surprise punch, so it doesn't hit you in the face. Like I don't.
That was the first time he's ever been knocked out, Trevin Giles. So
but that's why hands are there to protect your
It's like your dog with his arm up right now. His hands are up.
Yeah, exactly. Turks gets it.
He randomly just had his leg up. Yeah, he knows. He knows.
He understands, and he's only 4 months old. Bunny, what's up? Making her appearance in the comments. Always good to see you. Fellow co-host.
Bunny doing a suey.
What's that?
If anybody wants to go back into the video library, Bunny did a shoey for Tai Tuivasa.
Yep, so that's the reason she inspired Tai Tuivasa to do his. He was like, man, I'm watching this dog MMA show. That's a really good celebration.
Well, I jump on the cage and chug a beer out of my shoe.
By that loss, or whatever they say.
Oh yeah.
And she's humble.
So who do you have in this fight? Yeah, Soto.
I mean, I do have Soto. I'm waiting to bet it until I see weigh-ins. Frankly, I might be hesitant to bet it if he makes weight, just because I don't know what that looks like when you cut that extra 2.5 pounds. That's going to take away from you as the fight goes. But a deal is a big front runner for the most part, and sure has a grappling kind of weakness. But again, against Kroom, it was very close. It was a split for good reason. And so who knows here, but I will go with Soto. I'm waiting to bet it. At minus 135, it feels like a trap to me against a guy on a 2-fight losing streak with grappling weakness. I'm a little bit nervous, but most likely I'm going Soto. Next fight here.
Yeah, these first 2 fights I might just avoid altogether.
Yeah, they're a little bit tricky. This fight you're definitely going to avoid because of the line. Diana Avasaragova taking on 2-2 Gabriela Golfin, 3-0 versus 2-2. So take a wild guess at who the favorite is. When Bellator is Bellatoring here a little bit. It's okay. They do this once in a while, particularly with the women's divisions.
UFC just did it with Sean O'Malley. So,
hey, let's talk about my boy Chris for a second because
fight of the night, baby.
Chris won the fight. I don't care if he lost it. He won the battle. He won the battle.
In his face every second.
And O'Malley has a longer medical suspension than Chris. I fucking love it. That is poetic justice right there. That O'Malley is literally out longer than Chris. Chris is already back training. Like he's gonna
He could fight on this Islam card if he wanted.
He's gonna be doing big things. So shout out to Bunny who picked Chris on the show. I think she's the only recorded person to pick Chris Moutinho. The rest of us just need to catch up there. But Gabriella Golfin, her nickname is G Daddy.
G Daddy.
G Daddy.
We all know what G means, and you know.
And we all know why.
That's a little explicit.
Yeah, we all know why they call her Daddy. She trains on Marcelo Garcia. She's on a 2-fight losing streak. She got Americana'd by Aaron Blanchfield. Aaron Blanchfield's a solid prospect. She got kneed by Jasmine Jazarudavikius. I don't know who that is, but undefeated. And it was at a CFFC card. Her 2 wins are over a combined record of 0-2 for the 2 of them. I couldn't find a lot of tape on her other than her 2 losses, and they were pretty dominant. She lost in the first round of both. She's just been off since February of 2020 as well. And she's going up against Russian buzzsaw. It appeared in her first fight in a while, in Diana Avasaragova, Pantera, 22-year-old Russian grappling prospect who got a knockout in her last fight, 5-7. She was able to knock out Tara Graf, who was one of the tomato cans that Valerie Laredo got to fight on her way up to getting ranked number 8 in the Bellator rankings at 3-0. But yeah, she put her away in 29 seconds. It's a pretty impressive knockout by Avasaragova. To see hands from a grappler like that is quite frankly impressive. So shout out to her on that. She's coming in here, I think most likely getting an armbar win. You know, that was what she was known for in the grappling world and in her MMA game overall. So this is a squash match. The odds are beyond ridiculous. You know, it's minus 850 on a 3-0 girl. So I got Avasaragova first round armbar, I'll say. Gabrielle has lost in the first round both her fights. G Daddy goes down to first round for a 3rd straight fight.
Yeah, like I gotta agree with you big time. Like Deanna, the Russian model, like she honestly doesn't look like a fighter. She looks like she should be a model or something.
22 years old.
And that was very surprising that she got a knockout in her Bellator debut because
clean knockout.
That 1-2, and it was on her back foot. I think she was on her back foot, and that type of power from a 125er, I believe. Is it 125?
Yes.
Like that. That's impressive. And I listened to an interview today. They're asking her to fight Valerie Loretto if she wins. I would
love to see that fight. Valerie would lose.
And we might actually get Deanna at minus 180 if they fought because Valerie Loretto has all these fans and the media, right?
Yep. So I mean, I cashed on the last Valerie Loretto line pretty hard and Hannah Guy.
Plus 500 or something.
Because Valerie Loreto's grappling is not good.
And her conditioning. It's because she moves. She moves for the whole 15 minutes. You're going to end up getting...
If it's on the feet, she's a world-class Olympic-level striker. But I would be shocked if Deanna gets that fight because I think Valerie has way too good of management to put her in that situation.
Yeah, Deanna's levels ahead of Valerie Loretto. Gabrielle Golfin, I had to do research on her. I haven't... I was not familiar with her name. She went 0-2 in CFFC. She's been a pro for 3 years now. She has been an amateur for 6 years ago. She started as an amateur, so she has 10 fights altogether, while Deanna only has 3 fights. So she definitely has stepped into MMA a lot more times than Deanna.
Yep.
But Deanna has just that X factor with the with the wrestling. She comes from a great camp. I know she trains with Liana Jojua, who's in the UFC from Georgia. And that Bellator debut just told me everything I really like. Even though it was only a minute, this girl means business. Okay, and I like her chances in this fight a lot.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the most agreed upon cards that we've ever broken down together. This is like they really
I was going to have John Ramirez. We were going to disagree on that.
That would have been our huge disagreement because I was all over Feraldo, who ironically I had picked against, I think in at least one of his previous fights, if not two of his previous fights.
It's Cody.
Yeah. Yep. So I was fine. Like I finally caved in and was going to believe in him, which typically means those guys.
600. His odds were. That's why I didn't like.
We're still probably have that in a couple of weeks especially if it's not a health related stoppage.
I'm talking about this fight and the odds.
Yeah, this is going to be a quick one for me. Theodore Machuca taking on Cody Law. Man, they love the American Top Team product, Cody Law. They love this guy. They see a potential AJ McKee, I think, kind of creation here where they can really – he started in Bellator, 3-0 now, taking on a 1-0 head taker in the Taekwondo product, Theodore Machuca. I was able to watch his one fight, the New Jersey product.
Undefeated.
Yeah, he's undefeated. 1-0 as an amateur, got a triangle choke, and 1-0 as a pro. Got a 36-second knockout where the first punch he landed on the guy, it looked like the guy had never been punched before. It kind of reminded me of the Christian Aguilera fight against Aquaman Anthony Ivy when he hit him with the first jab, and Anthony Ivy looked like he shattered his whole body. It was similar to that guy he took on. So looks like he's taken several steps up in competition here, and he's never really been tested too much. He was supposed to fight back in February. I'm not sure if the fight just got scrapped or what, but now he's moving up to fighting Cody Law. Cody Law is very 3-0, American Top Team. Faced two guys who are 2-0 prior to that, one of which he went into the third round, got the finish towards the end, so it was impressive to see the gas, 15 minutes. I like that. Got a Darce choke finish and a decision, so we've gotten to see a KO, a submission, and a decision, and he's frankly looked good in all three instances. Nathan Garib was pretty just outclassed in that fight, and it was very apparent. Takedowns came early and often. Takedowns are going to come early and often here. He could finish. He could go to a decision, but I just think this is Cody Law's fight to lose. I'll pick a decision, but I mean a submission, but it could easily go to a decision where he's a little more looking to test his overall game and develop against a guy who mostly appears to just be a Taekwondo product from what I was able to see, but also from his interviews and what he's been focused on his background. So Cody Law is the pick here. There's no real creativity to it.
Yeah, I like how Cody Law went all 3 rounds in his last fight just to get that that ring time, that experience in the octagon. Or I don't think it's an octagon in Bellator. It's like a hexagon or something. But yeah, I just like how he went all 15 minutes against Kenny Champion. He also went pretty much all 3 rounds. He got that 16-second knockout at the very last second. Kind of reminded me of Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho at the very last second. And I think Theodore's probably going to get the same treatment here from Cody Law. It's going to end up being a ground and pound, submission, or a decision. Like it's hard to predict the way Cody's going to finish, but he really should get a finish here. I've got every fight he's had professionally. I'm 3-0 on him, so I'm on board the Cody Law train. My very first prediction I got correct, but the next 2 I had him by decision, and he ended up getting that 16-second friggin' knockout. I would have had that decision prop win, and then Cody Law, I had him by submission round 2. His last fight, he went to the decision because his odds are crazy. You have to do a prop bet if you want to make some money off him or parlay. He's all American Top Team. He's very hyped up. Dalton Rosta, him and Dalton Rosta are just killing it right now. Yeah, it's pretty similar. And I got him all day. Put him in all your parlays. Just boost your parlays.
Yeah, not going to boost him much, unfortunately, with the minus 750 price tag on him. That's probably going to shoot up more. Or wait, sorry, minus
Yeah, I got minus
1200.
1200.
Minus 1200. I apologize. Yeah, that's
I've already got him in a parlay, so
that's really not going to shoot it up. And it's probably going to be higher by fight night, but probably going to be about minus 2000 by fight night would be my expectation.
Yeah, get it now.
Yeah, get it now cheap at minus 1200.
And I was wrong about last week. I friggin' thought Conor McGregor would be the underdog come fight night, but
nope, that never happened.
Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Yep. Yeah, including all of us. That was one of our unanimous picks that came through. Next fight here.
Easy money.
Next fight here, not easy money. Because if anybody knows how this fight's gonna go, they're a liar. Because this is a weird heavyweight.
You must have a crystal ball or something.
Bellator heavyweights go to Bellator heavyweights. Because we got the former middleweight UFC fighter, Hani Marcus. That is the same Hani Marcus from middleweight. Was a contender at one point at middleweight. I remember that. Taking on Saeed Salma.
Or maybe not. Or he might have fought Thiago Santos. It was either
he fought some really good. He fought some really good.
He fought both of them. Yeah, he fought both of them.
Yeah, I mean he was up there, but I'll get to him in a second. Saeed Salma is where I start. The 28-year-old 6-2, lost his last fight out. I believe he's fighting out ATT, but maybe I'm mistaken on that. But I know he's out of Coconut Creek. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. And his Bellator debut came against Tyrell Fortune. Definitely a guy we'll be talking about later on in the card. A guy I really respect and take quite seriously. And I think is still a legitimate heavyweight prospect, even though he kind of had a little slip up in the middle of his, Bellator run there with a KO and a DQ, but avenged that disqualification with authority. And just Tyrell Fortune's a tough Bellator debut to have for Saeed. Saeed ended up grappling with him in the third, and that was really a mistake because Tyrell really took over when Saeed tried to grapple. Before that,
he did steal a round.
Yeah, he did steal a round, but it ended up with Saeed kind of impressive, with Tyrell impressive. But Saeed's only losses are to Steve Mowry and Tyrell Fortune.
Tall Steve.
Yeah, Tall Steve. Tall Steve just got a win in Bellator, didn't he?
He's like 4-0 in Bellator, yeah.
He just got like another win.
He did.
And he looked really impressive. Yeah, he looked pretty impressive. So those are two impressive losses. I mean, he doesn't have any wins over anybody of note. Bobby Brent's at 17-7. He did win with a third round knockout. Saeed just he's gotta stretch this fight. He's got to get this fight into the second round. Work on a pace because that's how you break. I think that's how you break his opponent, Hani Marks. I don't like a blowed up middleweight going to heavyweight, and he is looking, frankly, just like not in shape in his fights. So I think Saeed has a really good opportunity here to make this. This is low level heavyweights, so anybody can take it. I'm not going to act like I know who's going to win, but it's crazy. Hani Marks only 33 years old, fighting out of Extreme Couture.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's only 33.
Yeah, but he just doesn't seem very dedicated to the conditioning aspects. When the fight gets uncomfortable, he doesn't seem to keep going. So
we have to see more wrinkles in his game to be comfortable with him.
Linton Vassell was able to put him away with ground and pound in his Bellator debut. Linton Vassell's looked really
no easy task. So.
Yeah, Linton Vassell's looked really good at heavyweight too, I think. So this is an interesting fight. I think it's a real toss up, honestly.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I don't know how anybody could claim that they know how this fight is going to go. Unfortunately, my phone just died. So if you could pull up the odds here for me for the rest of the week.
We got Hani Marks is plus 155, Saeed Soma minus 175.
Okay. Oh, Saeed is the favorite.
Yeah, like almost 2-1.
Damn. I thought I was getting a dog. I thought I was getting a dog.
No.
Wow. So I don't look at lines before I break down fights for the most part.
Yeah.
Just because I think it has interfered with my breakdowns a couple times. So I'm really shocked by that. And unfortunately, I think they're right. I want to all of a sudden go for the dog here because in a fight like this, I want to have plus money. But I think Saeed wins this. Better training partners, better conditioning, actually a heavyweight. Stand-up wise, he has a massive advantage too. And I don't think Marks can keep a grappling edge for 3 rounds at heavyweight. I don't think this is an advantage of him not cutting weight. I think it's a disadvantage of him being not conditioned properly. Kind of reminds me of like, in a much less dramatic way, the fall of Paulo Filho. So, yeah, I got to go with the favorite. I can't change just because of that, but I really thought I was sneaking a dog in here. So I'm
wait. Let me see what he opened up as. Maybe he was the underdog, but
I just felt like
he opened up as a plus 155 underdog, Aaron.
Damn
so
it!
He was the underdog.
I missed the line.
Like it got blasted.
I mean, that is significantly that's too bad.
Yeah,
that's too bad because I knew at least he would. I didn't know, but I had a feeling he was gonna, in the odds makers' favor, be an underdog. And smart money.
These MMA handicappers are freaking growing by the day, and
that's crazy.
And they're ruining these opportunities for us.
Dude, that was an underdog we would have gotten just because people have been like UFC multiple time UFC winner. Ronnie Marquez, like, and not looked at.
And he's only lost to like Yoel Romero, Thiago Santos, Victor Nemkov.
I mean, these are good arguments for why he's a worthy dog pick, though. While I am picking Saeed and I'm confident, I'm a little bit confident within.
I would just pass on this fight altogether.
Yeah, now it does feel like a pass. I'll put it in a couple long shot parlays just because a minus 165 could take off a parlay pretty nicely, especially.
I just want to throw this out here. Isn't Joe Warren like a lightweight in Bellator?
Joe Warren, wasn't he like a bantamweight?
Yeah, isn't he a really small guy that? Yeah. He grappled Hani Marks.
That's weird.
Which is kind of crazy.
Joe, see, this is like just stay away from this fight. Probably this is the featured prelim. I find that hilarious that they chose for this to be, but I don't think they quite treat the featured prelim the way that the UFC does. I think they. Sometimes I feel like they just throw them into like a little like Yahtzee container and just like. Oh, the first fight of the night is Magomedov versus.
Put all the names in a hat and just pick out.
Like for example, CJ Hamilton's on this card. He's fighting in the co-main event. He fought in the second fight from the top when he fought Magomedov a few weeks ago. Like Bellator, going Bellator.
Bellator's going to Bellator. And one more thing about this fight.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Hani Marks is I don't even know what I was going to say. I would just stay away with all the MMA. This is what I was going to say. With all the MMA this week, I looked at my sports bookie. They have odds for UFC this coming Saturday, Bellator, LFA on Friday, LFA on Saturday, KSW on Saturday, Submission Underground on Sunday. Like, this is stupid, the amount of odds like we're getting. So
losing money on a Saeed Salma versus Hani Marks heavyweight.
That's on you guys if you bet on this fight.
That is, thank you. I feel like that was spoken directly to me.
Yeah. Well, you should. I can't believe
it's like for when I come to complain to you when Saeed gets robbed on a decision. I'm gonna be like, bro, Saeed. You're gonna be like, that is your decision. Next fight here. Next fight here. First on the main card, Johnny Eblen getting, I believe, his first main card spot here against a newcomer in Travis Bam Bam Davis. Another potential squash fight appears here. 34-year-old, 10-4 out of Sandusky, Ohio. I believe he was looking for a fight. Where was he originally looking for a fight? In Ohio Combat League against a guy named Tim Hiley.
Yeah, LFA vet, I believe.
Yeah, and then Bellator decided to call him and be like, hey, do you want to be in Bellator? And he said yes before even finding out who it was against. And he did. Like, yeah, you're fine. I listened to an interview with Travis because there was no fight tape on Travis, so I had to get a little bit of a peek into his confidence, mental game, what he's coming to us, because there's no fight tape on YouTube that I could find. So But overall, Travis's last fight was a boxing bout, and that was in June 4th of this year. So most likely been working on the stand-up before that. He was on a 2-fight MMA winning streak with grappling, but it was a 4-8 guy or a 4-3 guy, 8-11 guy. So we're not sure how good either one of those guys are exactly. And now he's facing a pretty legit prospect in Johnny Eblen, 8-0. Yeah, good grappler, good wrestler. Faced tough test in his last time out in David Madrid, 18-6, or Daniel Madrid, sorry, 18-6, former LFA champion, and good Muay Thai fighter himself. And Eblen put him down with a hook and then finished with some really good hammer fists. It was not just relying on the grappling only. Before that, used his grappling to beat Taylor Johnson. Taylor Johnson's had some good run. Even on Marcio Alonso, he's faced some very good opponents so far in his Bellator career, all with a lot of good experience as well. This is Johnny Eblen all day, man. Like, I'm not sure how he wins it, but I would think that when I look at Travis Bam Bam Davis, I think he's glad to take the opportunity and hopefully hoping to get a few fights here. But Bam Bam has not been finished since early on in his career. In 2017, he was finished in 6 seconds from a punch. So we don't know if he has a bad chin.
I've heard of him as well.
Yeah, we don't know if he was a bad punch or a bad chin type of. But besides that, doctor stoppage and a split and a unanimous decision. So maybe he comes out here, makes this a grimy affair, and Johnny adds some challenges. But based on Johnny's run in Bellator and how he's looking, I think this is an opportunity Bellator set up for him to look good to open a Showtime card.
Yeah, Johnny Eblen's part of that American Top Team crew. They have Austin Vanderford. They have the champion that just won. What's his name? Yaroslav Amazov.
Yeah.
Dalton Rasta, Cody Law. Like, these guys are just grinding on each other every day. They're around the same weight. So when they come into these fights, it's so easy for them because they've been like training with the best in the world in Bellator right now. So like he's gonna have that advantage every time he fights Johnny Eblen. And if you're able to get Johnny Eblen as an underdog versus Taylor Johnson, then good on you, because I don't think we're going to see underdog odds for a while on this guy. And he's special, man. He keeps changing his nickname. He's Diamond Hands now. I think it was something before, but I like him. I was not expecting him to starch Daniel Madrid like he did. I thought it was going to be a decision.
Yeah, I thought he was going to grind on him.
Flying colors, bro.
Yeah.
So I like Johnny. Travis Davis is a boxer and an MMA fighter. He goes back and forth, and you know what that means. If you don't dedicate yourself to one craft, it can really backfire on you. And he's obviously got hands, but Johnny Eblen can just take him down at will if he wants. So if Eblen gets in trouble on the feet, he's going to take him down, slow him down. Davis has that knockout chance. That's the only way he wins this fight.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I really like Johnny.
Yeah, I agree. I do have my phone on the charger now. Nice. minus 600 on Johnny Eblen.
Whoa, it got inflated. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think most of these odds at this point, the favorites have really gotten juiced, and then we had the one flip with Saeed.
Yeah, of course.
So that's going to haunt my dreams.
But still,
too.
That's a solid parlay piece. Like,
compared to the other high
I'm very
favorites,
confident in Johnny Eblen.
Yeah, I mean, you can really throw all those plus or minus 600 or higher together. They're coming.
Yeah, him, Deanna, and Cody Law. You might be able to get like minus 190. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, which again, like it sucks for a 3-fight card, but those 3 are coming in. So
yeah,
in my opinion, pretty reasonably sure.
Absolutely, man.
We'll move on to the next fight here. Making a nice pace so far on this one.
And we got 4 left, I think.
Yeah. It's a little bit easier when I guess it's this easy to break down the fights, though. This next fight's one of the closest on the card, though. here we go. This is like not saying much, but I think it's one of the closest on the card here. We got Brazil versus I believe Australia. Yep, New South Wales, Australia. You got the Bellator veteran Arlene Blencau taking on Diana Silva. Diana Silva coming off decent performance against Julia Budd. Looked pretty good for the featherweight here. The Brazilian 9-6 now, salty record. But she was able to get to a decision with Julia Budd, 30 years old. That fight was back in April of this year. It was a split decision. Diana really did a good job of crowding, making Julia uncomfortable, not effective with her striking. It made it grimy. Before that, got a decision. Before that, had another split to Mariana Ramirez, who has been around. I think Mariana Ramirez was over in PFL and just gutted out a split win over Caitlin Young over there. So, Marias not a bad fighter at all. Very scrappy Brazilian. They had a good scrappy close decision fight there. That was at lightweight 155 as well. So Diana very big. Then fought at 139 and now at 145. She looked pretty comfortable. She was a plus 765 underdog against Julia Budd and certainly did not look the part here. Decent turnaround of about 3 months between these fights. So like to see that quite a bit. Next up, New South Wales, Arlene Blencau, Anger Fists. Really have enjoyed watching and breaking down her fights. 38-year-old Australian here. She's coming off a rear naked choke loss to Chris Cyborg. No shame there. That came in October of last year. She's been off since then. So Diana has fought more recently. Before that, had a very solid decision win over Leslie Smith. Fight that, she was, I believe, a slight underdog in. Yes, she was a slight underdog there against Leslie Smith. So definitely impressive there. Their Amanda Bell knockout was very, very nice. Came in round 1. This girl hits hard. And then against Amber LeBrock, another 3-1 girl, took it into the third round, ended up getting a really impressive slam and ground and pound finish. So Arlene mixes it up, man. She's had some losses, but the losses have come to really high competition. Girls like Chris Cyborg, Julia Budd, wins over Janae Harding, wins over Sinead Kavanaugh, Amanda Bell, Leslie Smith, Amber LeBrock. Again, a loss to Merlos Konen, one of the original pioneers of the sport. She lost by armbar, Marlos's specialty, so no shame there. Those losses at all to me. She will fight girls too close at times. She had a split over Gabrielle Holloway, and also had the Leslie Smith fight, very close decision. This probably is heading towards another close one. Diana did look very tough, looked very good at crowding and taking away some of the weapons of Julia Budd, and looks like she is tough to finish, so it's hard for me to take Blencau. I think this fight's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be close. I think it's 29-28 possibly. We're hearing both names at some point, so maybe a split even. It's not a fight I'm looking to invest too heavy in on a weekend like this. It feels similar to the Caitlin Young, Mariana Marias fight over in PFL, where Caitlin Young was a slight favorite there in a fight where she's shown plenty of times to kind of make errors in. I think Arlene Blencau, I really like her, but I think she makes some tactical errors at points and allows her opponents positions that she shouldn't exactly be in and can, slip into those close decisions. So I'm going to lean ever so slightly Diana Silva by a split decision, not betting this either way. I think this is just too close, and we don't exactly know what Diana Silva is yet. Maybe she shows up and just showed that Julia Budd fight was the best performance she could have, and it was a loss. Or maybe she really grows from that. But I'll lean ever so slightly towards a younger, 30-year-old, bigger Brazilian.
Yeah, this is women's MMA. Diana Silva facing Julia Budd. Literally, I was already counting my losses because I had Julia Budd in so many parlays, and I thought I was fooped, like Connor would say.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it was home cooking or promotional home cooking. Diana Silva definitely won that fight. You guys go back to that fight. Deanna Silva won.
Yep.
She has 3 split losses in her career. Like she's like Jessica Ai. She gets into these really close competitive fights.
We don't need to say mean things to people.
Well, she made it to Bellator. Like she was a plus 765 underdog and nearly cashed as that.
Yeah.
Like,
and imagine if she would have won that fight coming into this fight, what the odds would be. If they just the judge just would have
Silva would be minus 300.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think women hit their peaks at a different time. I know Arlene's 38, but still, she's a well-conditioned athlete.
Powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. She can go all 3 rounds with a high intensity. And Deanna Silva is good at making rounds close. So maybe the best bet would be just bet the over. But at the same time, Deanna has lost by knockout once. And Arlene has lost by submission 5 times. But Deanna has no submission wins. So I really think this is going to hit the cards. I just want to see who Deanna lost by knockout to, because Arlene can definitely knock her out, but like that's a long shot. I think it might have been Karina Dahm in her MMA debut back in 2009. So that was 12
was
years ago.
decent.
Yeah, and Karina Dahm has never been a slouch. She friggin' went into that fight, her debut against Karina Dahm, who's 12-3. So, like, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No disregard to her losing that one. She also lost to Juliana Lima, who was a UFC vet. Yep. Jennifer Maia, who we just saw win. Marina Moraes. Like, we know these fighters. So, yeah, I think it's going to hit the scorecards. And like you said, probably a split, 29-28, one side. I'll be honest, I already placed a small wager on Deanna Silva.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be placing any more. And the weigh-ins, too. The weigh-ins will tell us a little extra.
Yeah, plus 125 for the Silva side, minus 155 on Blencau. Yeah, I mean, Blencau's shown that it's a tough fight for me, just because, like I said, I believe if the scorecards were right, Silva would be a minus 200 favorite in this fight or so.
Yeah, and we might not get Silva at underdog odds like this again. So I just want to see what the over is there. It's going to be inflated, I know. Yeah, minus 325 over 2.5. So parlay that with like Johnny Eblin, you got a decent bet.
Yeah, and I know you said, you believe the peak is different for men than women, but 30 versus 38 in general, I'm going leaning the 30-year-old side. So regardless, so I think that's a very close fight. Hopefully it's a good fight. It might not be a good fight, to be honest. It might just be real messy.
It might be one of those fights where just go smoke a bowl if you smoke weed, or grab a beer.
Allegedly. But this next fight here, this is another one that feels like a squash to me. But anytime CJ Hamilton shows up in PFL, anytime CJ Hamilton shows up in Bellator, it seems, even like LFA at this point, it seems like he's being brought in to lose. It's like he is kind of one of the most notorious jobbers, I think, in the game at this point. At one point, a regional win over him, I think, really something, and now it's gotten to this Charles Bennett, Melvin Manhoof territory where he's being set up with prospects that the prospects look good. Matthias Matos, former tough fighter, but real quick, I'll just go to Ultimate Fighter. I'll go to CJ Hamilton, who I feel like I've broken down like 700 times, and never have I seen to pick him. Because I don't break down when he faces the DJ Fuenteses of the world or the Jason Fagliers of the world. I do it when he's facing a Jimmy
big
Flick,
promotion.
Magomed Magomedov, Jordan Espinosa, et cetera. When he faces these legit talents, he seems to lose to them. It seems to lose to them by submission. Matthias Matos, 12-2-1. Lost his last fight out, I believe, to Magomedov. So they're both coming off losses to Magomedov, so there's a commonality there. But the Pitbull brothers product, Matthias Matos, comes out with like kind of a cool like soldier garb on. He did have a majority decision in his fight before that, so and then he had a loss to Peter Yan. So it's one of these situations where we don't know exactly how Matthias has responded to his first loss in his pro career. Seems so far he's come back a little bit hesitant, although one of those was against Magomedov, so can't shame
And
that
Peter
one.
Yan, yeah. Those
And
are his
Peter
only
Yan.
2 losses.
Correct. But even the fight against Nastiko Galiev, I was able to watch that out of ACB. It was a very close fight. I do think that he won, however. So
Yeah.
Matthias, I do think won. It's got good grappling, good striking as well. I think the grappling is clearly where you look to exploit this with CJ Hamilton, though. Take him down, make him grapple. I think eventually Matthias breaks through with a submission win, rear naked choke most likely, but I'll take Matthias submission.
Matthias submission. How many times has CJ Hamilton? Yeah, CJ has been submitted 3 times.
Yep.
2 rear naked chokes and an arm triangle. Matos has 4 submission wins, 2 guillotines, 1 rear naked choke, and 1 triangle. So yeah, that's probably definitely the route that most people should take. CJ Hamilton though is no easy out. He's only lost like the best opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Magomedov, Jimmy Flick, who's one of the best submission artists in the game.
Even
Espinosa could have went either way. Casey Kenny, Jared Brooks, another split decision to Jared Brooks, who Jared Brooks arguably beat Davison Figueiredo. So you can never freaking count this guy out. And I think he's got more to lose here. CJ Hamilton's going to want to make a name for himself. Matthias Matos, both of them are in the same boat. Like, they both lost their UFC Bellator debuts to the same opponent. They both have been in the game for so long. CJ Hamilton actually has more fights, if you can believe it. Like, almost twice as many fights. This might be a good underdog opportunity. I'm interested at the weigh-ins just to see their confidence and their body language. I think Matthias Matos does have to cut a lot of weight. But he hasn't fought since Matthias Matos fought December, the end of 2020. So it's been like 7 months. CJ Hamilton just fought recently in April, so May, June, July, so 3 months ago. I'm just gonna wait for the weigh-ins. I don't have an official prediction yet. I was gonna start piling on Matthias Matos and parlays, but I'm a little worried with the CJ Hamilton character. I don't know what to expect, and he could win a split decision here, so I'm just taking it easy on this fight.
It's fair enough. Minus 310 for Matos, probably get plus money at submission prices. I would think probably a plus 200 or so.
They might have submission props here. 1 sec.
Maybe even inside the distance if you're a little concerned with the ground and pound and striking overall of Matos. What's inside the distance if they have that?
Matos by submission plus 350, so definitely a good bet. Good flyer there. And Matos inside the distance. Plus 125, so you're getting plus money either way.
I might kind of double dip there and try to hit the home run with the.
And if you want to go crazy, CJ Hamilton by decision. Mm-hmm. Let's see, plus 400. So you could even hedge that.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting fight. You brought up some really good points, and after this, I mean, the thing I kind of trashed CJ Hamilton and probably a little too much there, but. You get a win over CJ Hamilton, that means you're legit. You don't, it means you're not.
Yeah.
It means you're not. It's very black and white with him. You beat him, you're good. You lose to him, you're not good. If you're kind of good, you split him, like a Jared Brooks, like a Espinosa. Casey Kenny. Yeah, exactly. Casey Kenny split?
Maybe not. Wait.
Okay.
No, it was unanimous. Jordan Espinosa was split.
Right, so that makes sense. Like, you got Jared Brooks and Espinosa split guys. The unanimous decision of Kenny then the finishes are the Jimmy Brick flicks, the Magomedovs. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're
And
really
we
good,
don't
you
really know
finish him.
Matos yet, so
Right. Exactly. So really interesting fight. Good one, third from the top.
I like it.
And we got a co-main event. Both heavyweight fights are just weird. This one's weird too. Terrell Fortune is fighting Matt Mitrione. Why? Why fight Matt Mitrione at this point? Like,
I think it's rescheduled. They were supposed to fight in April, and
that's what I'm saying. Like they're
why?
like tripping over their dicks to make this fight happen. Like people are like clamoring to see how. I've never been a Matt
They're trying to build up
Mitrione
Tyrell, in my opinion.
for sure. I mean, Tyrell has now had to fight Jack May twice, and now he's getting 2 opportunities to fight Matt Mitrione. Matt Mitrione, 43 years old now. I've never been impressed by Matt Mitrione. Never. Not on tough.
Be Derek Lewis, buddy. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
But it was like the first punch that landed won, pretty much.
Yeah, that was 2 trucks running headfirst at each other, and
Same
who
with
had the
Fedor.
better. Yeah, exactly, and that's how Matt Mitrione like has to win. He has to like
Meathead.
make it that
Meathead.
toss where it's like, yeah, he fights like a meathead.
Yeah.
Perfect nickname. Perfect 13-8 for Matt Mitrione, a 43-year-old.
Oh, look at your
can you see
exit.
that?
Holy.
I was about to say, can you see? I've not gotten
What the hell?
I have not gotten a Matt Mitrione fight right.
That looks like my Andrei Arlovsky Tapology page.
I am 0-8 on Matt Mitrione picks on
Hey,
Tapology.
pick Tyrell for me, please. Pick Tyrell.
I'm all over Tyrell here.
Okay, good.
I think that as long as he doesn't get Timothy Johnson caught on the edge of his chin like he did in that fight, after the first 3 minutes, it should be a wrestling clinic and a leg kick clinic and a distance control clinic for Fortune. At this point, Matt Mitrione is hilarious, though. I've never gotten a Matt Mitrione fight right.
I've never seen a Tapology page like that.
I picked Derek Lewis to beat him first round KO back in 2014.
Well, in an alternate universe, that might have happened. But,
right. So that's hilarious, though. So don't take my advice on this fight. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I don't know how to read.
You must like Matt Mitrione personally or something.
And it's not like I always pick against him or with him. Like it's a spread of me being wrong on opponents and on him. Yeah. So it's not like I'm just like
me with Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, same way.
Last 3 losses though for Mitrione have come to Bader by decision. No shame there. Sergey Karatanov landed in the second round, so he made it through the firefight of the first round with Matt Mitrione. It was a good first round though, but then Mitrione was gassed, and then Tim Johnson survived.
His mouthpiece kept falling out. Remember that?
Yeah, and that's
like
just
several times.
That's a sign of exhaustion, a sign of just not wanting to be in there completely.
Yeah.
I think with Fortune, it looks similar to the Bader type of loss where Fortune really just rinse, repeat that takedown grappling. Leg kicks could really be a good tool for Fortune too. As long as Fortune doesn't get into a phone booth and a firefight in the first 2 minutes, like I don't know how Matt Mitrione wins this otherwise. So I'll take Tyrell, which means rest in peace, Tyrell.
Yeah.
0-9. Can I go 0-9 on Mitrione?
That's impressive, actually. If you can go 0-9.
The odds on that are impossible.
Well, Matt Mitrione has won by 11 knockouts, man. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
11 out of 13 fights wins.
Yeah, so he's only went the distance twice with his wins. If he does win, it's going to be by knockout. But I think Tyrell Fortune learned a lot in that Tim Johnson fight. You could tell by the way he fought Jack May.
Well, after the Tim Johnson fight, he fought Jack May and had the disqualification the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So those 2 fights he really learned from that little skid and that little kind of mental hurdle.
Yeah, and Saeed Soma, we were talking about him earlier. He's a good knockout artist in his own right.
Right.
A young guy, heavyweight, not as experienced or seasoned as Matt Mitrione, but still like a good opposition. And then he was able to make that fight a win against Jack May, show everybody I am the better fighter, and he finished him in 3 minutes. Like he took him down and just wailed on him. So If Tyrell Fortune follows the Ryan Bader blueprint, this is Tyrell Fortune's fight all day, and he's even a bigger Ryan Bader. So the line should even be heavier, in my opinion. It was decent. I think it is getting heavier as we're doing this podcast.
Yep.
But I just gotta say one thing. Matt Mitrione, in his Bellator interview today, the first question was, "You're 0-5 coming into this fight. How are you going to prove the doubters wrong?" He's like, "Oh, we're going to start with this. We're going to start with you saying I'm 0-5. All right. I'm going to put the asshole hat on then." And Matt Mitrione just started going off on this reporter like, "Fuck you, man. Like, I throw hands. That's how I'm going to win. Like, I've had enough of you." Because he started the interview with, "You're 0-5. Like, come on."
Yeah,
that would get me rattled too.
Yeah, I think you can throw Tyrell Fortune in that kind of the surefire higher prospects who are higher odds here. I mean, I'd put Tyrell with Johnny, I'd put Tyrell with Cody, and I'd put Tyrell with Juliana and get even money.
And he's also a homegrown Bellator prospect or experiment. Like, I don't think he's ever had a fight outside of Bellator.
Yeah, the odds are shooting up a little bit. Tyrell Fortune now minus 450 favorite. It was around minus 350 as of yesterday. And it's just, I mean, it's just.
Well, hedge Mitrione by, because this is the co-main event, right?
This is the co-main event, yes.
Yeah, so if you make a huge parlay and every leg hits and you have Tyrell, you'll have a prop bet for Matt by knockout. So you can always hedge that at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be moving on to – have we had a disagreement yet?
Did you take Deanna Silva?
Yes, I took Diana Silva.
Diana Silva?
At least that's what I say. I don't know if that's right.
I was thinking Hani Marks is an underdog now. That's the only one problem.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty crazy. I don't think we've ever had this many agreements.
Yeah. No, that one PFL we did. I think we went like 10-0 or something.
We killed it. We killed it on the one we were all together on. So, besides me getting Matt Mitrione, yeah, rest in peace to Tyrell Fortune, who's going to be knocked out in 40 seconds. But going into the main event here, we got a championship fight. We got flyweights. The flyweight ladies are in the fucking house. Listen to Bunny. She knows what she's talking about. She might not bet, but she knows how to advise other people on making money.
She's listened to us before, and she knows when to pounce. Maybe if she does Tapology, get your picks in, Bunny. Get that Tapology blue belt going.
Honestly, I don't think she does yet, but I'm going to introduce her to Tapology at some point here because it's Tapology. Fun. Real quick Tapology story. I was introduced to Tapology at the first UFC on Fox card in Chicago at the United Center. I just finished taking a picture with Brian Ebersol, who was on his way to go do an interview. This was after he beat Dennis Hallman in the Speedo.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he had the hair and like no one recognized who he was because he's just some bald dude, like in like a tracksuit. I was like,
didn't he have the tattoo? He's got the tattoo, right?
Yeah, but he's wearing a tracksuit.
He's wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah, and this was before Tyron Woodley was in the UFC, and everything like that. And so, but I was sitting next to some dude there, and like, I don't know if you've been to a UFC event yet or an MMA event.
Yeah, but, John Jones, Alexander Gustafsson.
I don't know if you became like friends with like everybody in your section, but like you like grow and like get really close to like the other hardcore fans in your section who are like there from the first prelim. Like, so like we're like going back and forth, me and this dude, like in a good way for the prelim. And he was like, "Bro, have you ever heard of this site Tapology?" I was like, "I have no idea what that is." He's like, "Bro, sign up. It keeps track of your picks. It keeps track of all this."
This drunk guy. So that's how you found out.
That's how I found out about Tapology.
It's like crazy how MMA fan.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Like I mean, 10 years later, I'm a black belt on Tapology, even with my 0-9 Matt Mitrione picks.
Really? Wow.
Yep, I am a first degree black belt, so very proud of that.
I'm very close to being a black belt.
It's a huge honor. It's like when the UFC fighters get their black belt after a win, they like break down more than the fight. It's like when I got that, I just dropped to my knees. I was anyway.
Yeah, Bunny wants to get belts, so let's go. And you can get your first belt so easy. Once you first join, it's like
Oh my God.
your
She's
first
gonna
10
be,
picks.
and Bunny watches all the events, so it's like that's how you really pick up that experience. You get the LFA picks, you get the Bellator picks, you get all the UFC picks. I'll tell you about this more.
PSW, I wouldn't recommend doing Tapology on right away because you cannot even pronounce half their names.
Yeah,
so
but stay tuned, Bunny.
Bellator and UFC, you should definitely do Tapology every time.
Yeah, I'll be
If
providing.
you're in North America,
I'll be providing Tapology information to you very soon, Bunny. But we are to the main event of the evening, the Flyweight Championship of the. This comment is dope. That's correct.
Oh yeah.
By next week, you just need to
follow our picks. I won 11 and 12 last week. How'd you do?
I think I went 10 of 12. So or maybe
the
9
first
of
fight
12.
got scrapped. We were supposed to have 13 fights. I think I ended up going Alan Amedovsky though.
Yeah, I think
With the weigh-ins.
I was on Amedovsky too, but Hu Zhao Zong probably was going to win, and whoever I picked was going to lose in that fight.
Yeah,
so
it
when
was
that
just
got
one of those
scrapped, I
fights.
was like, just put those guys in LFA where they belong. Like, just get them. They don't need to be in the UFC. Go.
Yeah, definitely Bellator products.
But this is a dope main event here between two very credentialed combat athletes in Denise Kielholtz out of the Netherlands. Kind of reminds me of a mini Duran Duran to me. And taking on Juliana Velasquez out of Brazil, 34 versus 32. So very mature ladies. But as you kind of said earlier, they do kind of mature in prime at different points in their career compared to the men. So I think 32 and 34 here. They're both entering their prime. 1-0 with my Denise picks, so I got it. That's good.
Nice.
32-year-old. She's 5'3", been listed at 5'2" on other sites, so definitely a very short, small, or shorter, not small, she's thick, but short 125er here. On a 4-fight win streak since getting the standing guillotine against Vita Arteaga, which was a nasty, nasty guillotine by Arteaga. But after that, 4-0, all 4 of them being finishes. However, Brion Tyrell 4-3-1. Sabri Sanguli, after she got submitted, stood up and said, "No MMA. We do kickboxing. We do." I don't know if you saw it, but you can look it up. And she's like yelling at Denise the whole time that challenge me to a non-MMA fight. She's like and Denise is just like laughing at her.
That was against Sungul?
Against Sungul, yeah, the 0-0.
It only lasted 32 seconds.
She just took her down in Americanator. It was James Toney Couture. That's
or like Hanato Moicano versus Damir Hadzovic.
Yeah,
remember
so
Damir's like, I thought you want to fight.
Yeah, and then Christina Williams, a 3-2 girl, threw a really slow 2-kick combo, a body kick and a spinning kick, which she didn't get all the way around on, and Denise had her back before she could spin all the way around. So the reason I'm bringing this, and then Kate Jackson, she's 11-4, but she just did not look like she was in the same ballpark of physicality as Denise in that fight. When she got punched by Denise, she fell forward in slow motion really badly. So the reason I'm bringing this up is the last 4 wins for her, I don't think exactly justify a title fight, but they have to put someone in there. She's the 4th ranked girl. She's getting a title fight before I think she's frankly ready for it. But she's got a lot of experience in kickboxing, and her MMA game has really shaped out. She did have the loss to Vita, but besides that, she has looked really good inside of Bellator. So, and Juliana Velasquez, I think she fought a really perfectly paced and perfect game plan against Ileana McFarland in their first fight. The first round was really felt out by both ladies, but just as it went on, Juliana's southpaw stance, her left hand, her grappling abilities as well. She's just very well-rounded, has really good composure, and defensively, she did get rocked one time in one of her fights, but besides that, I really haven't seen her hurt at all, and defensively, I think is where she shines first and foremost. Has a win over Nan Ling, Ling Nan, who went on to the UFC, didn't win, but had a good fight against Cara Soli in the fight over in Jacksonville. I was able to watch, but I really just think Juliana put together a pretty rock solid performance against a girl in McFarland, who was a tough out. I think Denise is going to have some difficulties here with Velasquez's well-roundedness. I think Velasquez needs to get this to the ground to win it. She will, but I think undefeated could also be close. I mean, this is a close fight. Denise is very good. She's very athletic. She technically sometimes puts herself in positions that she can be a little bit controlled, or, in the case of Vita Ortega, submitted. But I'm back and forth on this one, man. I think this is a really good fight. When I look at the odds, I can't advise anybody on anything but dog or pass. I will take Juliana Velasquez to get a decision. She's got the 5-round experience, and again, is a more well-rounded overall as an MMA competitor. But Denise is really good as well, very explosive, and she's a finisher. But I think the level of competition from these last 4 to Juliana is quite a steep incline.
Yeah, this is definitely a close fight, man.
Yeah.
Juliana Velasquez, undefeated, but like you were saying, Denise has fought cans. Like Juliana Velasquez, what can you say her best win is? The champion, probably Ileme. I always mess up on her name. McFarland. Yeah, that's her best win, in my opinion. Like she also beat Christina Williams, Nei Liang. Nei Liang, I guess, is okay. She was 7-1.
But that was very early on in Ling Nan's career as well.
Yeah, that was only 4 fights in.
It was a really slow, weird armbar that Velasquez got. That it was kind of crazy. Ling Nan allowed to get set in. I don't think Denise.
I remember that. Yeah, Nei Liang was purely a grappler. She wasn't even a striker. She was just diving for the legs.
Right. This was before she was over at obviously the UFC Institute in Shanghai. Like, that one's not that great.
She was so one-dimensional back then.
Yeah.
And she also had a split with Alejandra Laura, who's a decent competitor. I thought she potentially should have beat Watanabe, but I'm glad she didn't because we cashed on Watanabe.
No, we
so that was nice. But yeah, like you said, this is a close fight, man. They're both judo specialists.
Yes.
They're both good strikers. I know Juliana might be the better judo specialist, but Denise is no slouch in that department either. She has medals in kickboxing and judo. So I'm very impressed with her. And at 125, this girl packs a friggin' punch, man. And I've also seen Juliana Velasquez get knocked down in her Bellator run. I think it might have been against Christina Williams, but she did get knocked down. She was able to rebound, collect herself, and come out with the victory. But
it wasn't against Christina Williams. It was Rebecca Ruth.
Bruna? Oh, Rebecca Ruth. Okay.
Yep. Really good fight too.
Yeah. It was so back and forth. I think Juliana ended up getting the finish in that fight.
Like a kick to the stomach, teep kick to the stomach. Like
I remember. Yeah, they thought it might have been a low blow at first. It was kind of like Walt Harris versus Volkov. It was something like that.
It was perfectly placed.
So if Denise can do the same thing Rebecca Ruth did, I think she has the athleticism to actually finish it. So I just can't write her off. Denise doesn't have that 5-round experience though, and Velasquez does with her last outing. I just think she's the more decorated fighter. 11-0. She's like the face of Bellator women's MMA right now. And there's something going on with her tattoo. I think somebody might have passed away that was close to her, and she dedicates every fight to
her brother.
Is it her brother? Yeah. So yeah, she just has a lot to fight for, man. I'm gonna go Velasquez, but I might not be even investing any money in this fight and just enjoy it as a fan.
Yeah,
or maybe take a flyer on Denise by knockout. That might be a good bet.
Denise by knockout's probably going to be around plus 400 because straight up she's a plus 250. for Denise, which is a crazy and a very, very close fight. This is
plus 1,100 by knockout.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take a shot.
Crazy.
I'm probably going to take a shot on that and just leave out the rest because minus 300 on Velasquez is tough. And a girl who's had a few close fights in Bellator has been dropped by some subpar striker in Ruth. So in Kielholtz, that loss of Vida Ortega probably is the best thing for her. She learned to not make the mistake that got her into that. So
just got to stay on the feet. If she can just keep it on the feet.
1,100 for a knockout is really nice for a bona fide kickboxer. So
yeah, who's got knockouts in MMA as well.
Yeah, and on a card where one of these minus 300s, at least one of these minus 300s is coming short, if not a few of them, this seems to be a prime suspect for a potential upset of the night.
A lot's on the line for both ladies, yeah. I love this fight, man. It's good matchmaking.
I like it a lot. It is maybe a slightly too soon title fight for Denise, but at the same point, she's got a ton of experience, and too soon title fights have been won by the challenger before. And this could very
well. And they both have faced like similar competition. Like, it's not like Velasquez has faced, they're
both judo black belts.
Jennifer Maya, like those really elite flyweights. Both of them haven't really faced elite women flyweights yet.
Yep. So, I agree. I'm gonna take Juliana because she has been there, but my only advice is to take. Juliana by decision probably gets you plus money, or Denise
I would do that.
Denise Kielholtz by KO. Those would be my two advices for that.
Does
fight.
Juliana have submissions? I'm just gonna double check here.
A couple. She has an arm. Well, she has
one arm bar. That's it.
I think that's it.
I was gonna think like maybe by her by submission might be.
No, I really don't think so.
No,
I do think she could be on top.
She likes to strike.
Yeah. So, and if it's a striking battle, both girls are world class. I think Denise Kielholtz reminds me of a mini Jermaine Durandamy mixed with a Viviana Araujo, kind of maybe because she looks like her, but she also kind of fights.
Collaboration.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good combination there, man. And frankly, between these two, Denise has the more explosive, exciting, aspects to her game that I think could make for a legit champion. If I'm being honest with you, Juliana is kind of just solid, which is often good enough to be a champion in these lower levels in these smaller divisions.
She looks older than 34, by the way. Like, I saw her at the press conference today. She looks like a grandma.
Yeah,
like, if you saw her.
No, I haven't looked yet.
She doesn't look like a spring chicken.
Yeah, but that's going to do it here for the Bellator 262 breakdown show with Brandon.
No disagreements.
Zero disagreements. Sorry, guys. It is not usually like this, I promise. But, we're going to make our reads, and if our reads are our reads, it is what it is. There's a couple that if we're wrong on, we're going to say, I was almost switching on. But, besides that, I do in all seriousness really think that a Terrell Fortune parlay with Cody Law, with Johnny Eblin, and with Azarkarova, that is my parlay of the week. I think it will get you plus money. Invest in it heavy.
And hedge Matt Mitrione by knockout if all those come through.
Right, because you'll beat it at home.
It's going to be good odds on Matt by knockout. And I think Matt by knockout is going to just keep escalating in price because all this money's coming in on
all the money, all the talks about it being 0-5. Yeah, exactly. And then for the main event, my advice is bet Velasquez by decision and Denise by KO and sit back and hope.
Yeah, plus 1,100, you have to take that. That
she's
seems
got power. She's got ridiculous. She's coming off a 43-second knockout.
Yeah, and we've seen Juliana get rocked before. She gets too comfortable standing, so it's a perfect recipe for disaster.
Yep, and just like a recipe for disaster is seeing a plus 250 dog at the end of a potentially very successful Bellator fight where I'm going to be on a big kick in it. I'm going to be like, yo, I've hit everything here. Time to hit it with the dog to end. And then I'm like, why did I do that? Velasquez just cruises. I'm like, why? She's kissing her tattoo. Like, what am I thinking? But anyways.
I'm still, at the end of the day, I am still going Velasquez, but
But Brandon, anything you need to plug before we take off?
No, man. Are you doing LFA tomorrow?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing the LFA card at, I believe, probably 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. And thank you, Raul. Love you very much, buddy. I'm here for you always as well.
I'm here
Raul.
for Raul too. Okay, you don't have to just be here for Aaron. Brandon from MMA Wagers has your back too, buddy.
Hey, dude, but you made it, man. We're glad.
Raul, at
Raul.
least you're here, my man.
Raul,
We're happy to see you. We're happy to see you're chiming in.
This is for both of us. This is for both
Thank
of
you,
us.
my man.
Raul is the man.
I'm sensitive. I'm sensitive. Okay.
Hey, we're all sensitive here, but I'll be back tomorrow at 3:30 live for the LFA breakdown. Probably going to be a solo breakdown, but we'll see here. And then I'll be back tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. It's the UFC show with Brian Pooh Bear Battle of the Ultimate Fighter, soon to be of the UFC, I hope.
Can you pronounce Islam Makhachev? Oh, sorry, I just said it.
Islam Makhachev.
Makhachev. It's Makhachev. Like you have to clear your
Thiago
throat.
Moises will also be joined with a very, very special guest, Taylor Starling of the Bare Knuckle FC. She had a potential fight of the year for all of combat sports with Clarissa Sico in her BKFC debut. She's making her BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship return this weekend. She's going to stop in. She trains with Brian Battle. So she's going to stop in and talk with us for a little bit. Taylor Starling is an absolute star. If you're not checking her out on Instagram, thank me later. But Taylor Starling, she is a gem. So looking forward to catching up with her tomorrow. But for Aaron, the dog, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, keep taking anything you guys say? Go ahead.
Well, I think that might be the Paige Van Zandt versus
Britain Hart.
Rachel Osovich card. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. Paige Van Zandt,
Okay.
Rachel Osovich are headlining it. And
Yeah, there's
Taylor
a lot of TikTok and YouTubers fighting too. So yeah, that should be a fun night.
It's going to be
And
fun.
Paige said, "Come for the boobies, stay for the violence."
Yeah. Also, Paige admitted today that she doesn't wear deodorant when she works out. But for Aaron, the dog of Aaron the Dog MMA, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, we are out until tomorrow, 3:30 for LFA, 8:30 for UFC. Keep taking care of each other out there and cash those motherfucking bets.
Let's go. Take care of everybody. Take care.